Hey guys, it's Quentyn from Fandroid.com, and this is our review of the Samsung Epic 4G Touch. The Samsung Epic 4G Touch is America's first Galaxy S2 smartphone, and it was brought to us by Sprint on September 16th for $199.99. The first difference between Sprint's version and the international version starts up front. First of all, we have a 4.5-inch Super AMOLED Plus WVGA display. Below the display, you have the familiar set of 4 capacitive buttons for menu, home, back, and search. On the left side of the device, you have the volume rocker up and down buttons. On the right side of the device, you have just the power button. Above the display, you have your 2-megapixel front-facing camera, your light and proximity sensors, the speaker grill, and the LED notification light. Up top, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack and nothing else. And on the bottom, you have your microphone hole and the USB port. And the USB port actually doubles as an MHL port, so you can use an HDMI cable to stream content to your TV. On the back, we have the 8-megapixel camera with an LED flash, and that camera is also capable of shooting 1080p HD video. On the bottom left, on the back side of the device, is your speaker grill. To power off the battery door, you simply slip your nail into that slit and pull it off. Underneath the battery door, you have an 1800 milliamp hour battery, a micro SD card slot, but there are no micro SD cards pre-installed, and that's about it. Inside, you have a 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Exynos processor, 1 gig of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage, and WiMAX radios for Sprint 4G. Unfortunately, you do not get an NFC chip here. The device is only a hair thicker than the original Galaxy S2, and that's likely just due to the fact that there are WiMAX radios inside. It's also a bit heavier as well. Fortunately, the size and weight differences are so marginal that you probably won't even notice or care. At the end of the day, this is still one of the lightest and thinnest smartphones on the market. I was a bit disappointed when I learned that the 4.5-inch display had kept the same WVGA resolution as the original. The high-quality Super AMOLED Plus display helps mask the fact that there are very few pixels cramped into such a large screen. As you can probably tell from the up-close shot of the display, it's kind of hard to spot out individual pixels, and it's even tougher in person. I would have appreciated being able to fit more onto one display, but I honestly don't mind it after hours of use. And as you'd expect from any Samsung phone with a Super AMOLED Plus display, the screen is very responsive to touch. The 1.2 gigahertz dual-core Exynos processor inside packs a lot of power, and Samsung takes advantage of that power beautifully with TouchWiz 4. As you can see, loading apps and loading their GUIs happen within an instant of touching the icon. Even with a lot of widgets and a lot of stuff going on the home screen, it's very smooth flipping around each page. The effects of TouchWiz 4's hardware acceleration and the Exynos processor are most visible in the browser. As you can see, even with the flash ad on the right and top of the site, I can scroll smoothly up and down the page, and pinch to zoom is buttery smooth. Everyone's always looking for that Android phone to rival iOS and Windows Phone 7 in terms of smoothness, and thanks to the combination of hardware inside, I think Samsung's really hit that nail on the head. I think what impressed me the most is that GPS worked out of the box, and if you have the original Galaxy S, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And more than it just works, it actually works well. I'm sitting inside of a room with no windows, and got a lock within 5 seconds, so no complaints there at all. By no means am I an audiophile, but I was very impressed by the call quality. I could hear everyone clearly on their end, and they could hear me just as well on mine. Speakerphone performance was really good too, though I'm not sure how you'd fare in a very loud environment. As for battery, this thing will get you at least 16 hours on heavy use. On a day where I didn't use the phone much, the battery lasted me about 30 hours. That should be enough to get you through a work or school day, or a long day where you can't seem to find an outlet to plug up. As I stated in my hardware section, TouchWiz 4.0 implements hardware acceleration, and that makes everything feel a lot more smooth and a lot more optimized. TouchWiz itself is very familiar. We still have the iOS style of flipping through apps. We still have the ability to edit and remove home screens. And we still have a lot of nice widgets to add. As you can see, Samsung's gone with a new interface for adding widgets and icons to your home screen. You can scroll through the home screens up top here, and then you can select what you want to add down here. It looks very nice, and it's actually a lot more useful than it used to be, instead of having to try to edge the app onto the side of the screen and get it to flip over. Here in the apps tray, we still have the ability to customize the 3 applications that appear on the bottom dock, but we also have the added ability to add folders and add pages. I mainly use pages and folders to hide the bloatware I don't want to see. You can easily uninstall apps in the apps tray in edit mode. As you can see at the upper right hand corner of each icon, there's a minus symbol. You just press that and the app goes away. And as you can see with the Telenav app here, you can also uninstall some Sprint applications. Speaking of apps, Samsung's added a lot of really useful ones. Aside from the standard calculator, calendar, clock, and gallery, you'll also get a photo editor, Player's Office, Social Hub, Media Hub, a video maker, and voice command, which is actually Lingo integration. The two most interesting additions are the photo editor and the video editor. While the photo editor isn't enough to do much of anything, and while the video editor won't let you create blockbuster flicks, they're both still really cool additions. You can drag and drop clips onto a timeline, add photos, and even add your own background music. The editor is even powerful enough to let you trim, split, and create transitions. The motion controls are by far the funnest additions Samsung's made to TouchWiz. On the home screen, I'm able to move applications and widgets simply by panning left and right with the phone. In the browser, I can easily zoom in and out by holding two fingers and moving the phone back and forth. The gallery allows me to zoom just like the browser does. And if I were to get a phone call from someone right now and I wanted to reject it, I could simply turn the phone over and it'll silence it. Last but not least, there's voice talk. Now there are two things you can do here. For motion control, you can double tap and it'll allow you to say what you want to do, text a friend or this and that. So you would just hit the top of the phone, double tap it twice.
What would you like to do?
And then you say what you want to do. But another cool feature, which I'll just show you guys real quick in the same section, you can actually just speak and activate it that way. You have to be in voice talk to actually do it, so you can't just speak outside of the application. But for those who are driving, a very cool feature. So I would say, "Hi Galaxy."
What would you like to do?
Text Carlton Brown. How are you doing?
Send text message to Carlton Brown.
Send.
Message, how are you doing? Message sent.
And then it sends
What
it.
would you like to?
So that's just the power of Lingo, but I like that you can really activate the controls with your voice, and that's the motion control and the voice control. The camera on the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch is one of the best I've used. It's an 8 megapixel sensor with 1080p HD video recording capabilities. I think this thing is good enough to at least replace your point and shoot. It's definitely not going to be good enough to replace your DSLR, but if you're just looking for a camera and a phone, this is going to be your best bet at this point. This phone is absolutely beautiful when taking pictures. HD video is buttery smooth, both recording and playback. White balance is not an issue like on some other OEMs phones. Just a very great overall camera and great software too. You have a lot of different options for resolution, scene mode, focus mode, effects, white balance, ISO, just everything you could think of, anti-shake, auto contrast, blink detection, just everything you could want in a phone's camera, in the camera period, a point and shoot camera period. You can also edit the shortcuts on the left side. Oops. If you press the menu button, so the most this is not working out the way I wanted it to. the ones you use, the options you use the most, you can put them on the left side for quick and easy access. So by default, they give you the switch camera and the flash. I think someone like me, I would put the ISO on there and probably white balance. I don't know. You know, you can change it up however you want. That's the beauty of this camera. You can customize it. And just the software is just great. Everything on about this is great. Gonna show you guys a quick sample of recording 1080p HD video. You can't turn the flash on while you're recording. You have to do it before you start recording. You can't turn it off during or turn it on during. And you also can't focus while recording. I wish that were an option, but considering a lot of point and shoots can do that, I wouldn't be too mad about that. So just very great quality, very smooth recording, and great high resolution. I apologize if the review sounded like more of an advertisement, but it's because there's not much wrong with the Galaxy S2. I was a bit disappointed that there was only WVGA resolution for the 4.5-inch display, but after hours of using it, I kind of forgot about that because the Super AMOLED Plus makes it so beautiful. So that's not really an issue with me. Might be with you, but I kind of stopped caring about it after a while. Also was disappointed that there were no NFC chip. There was no NFC chip inside, considering Google Wallet just launched on September 19th. And I'm sure that NFC will become very useful in the future. If you're going into a 2-year contract, you're going to want to be future-proofed. And unfortunately, with this one, you're not entirely future-proofed. You still have some very nice hardware inside, but not that NFC. As for that other hardware, that Exynos dual-core processor lives up to every inch and bit of its hype. One of the fastest phones I've ever used. I couldn't make this thing slow down. I couldn't make this thing freeze, or just, I couldn't do anything. I just I couldn't even have a live wallpaper on here. This thing's just smooth as stock Android with a static wallpaper. So I'm really impressed by the Exynos processor, and really impressed by TouchWiz 4 and the hardware acceleration that Samsung's implemented here. It really makes the device very smooth. Probably not quite as smooth as iOS and Windows Phone 7 still, but this is going to be this is the fastest Android phone I've ever used myself. So I'm not sure if that's saying a lot, but this is definitely a very, very, very smooth device. That processor is going to handle games like it's nothing. And yeah, it's just I don't know, that processor alone, it drew me in. So you're gonna love that. Also, the camera on this thing is excellent. 8 megapixel 1080p HD video recording, and not just because the numbers are high, but because the sensor is actually quality. One of the best sensors I've used in the phone. So, and then the camera software is great as well. Just a lot of features, a lot of stuff converges into one nice package. A very, very, very nice device for $200. This doesn't get much better than this on Sprint. This is like everything you could ask for in one fell swoop. So I think Samsung and Sprint have definitely got a winner on their hands with this one. Would be a very, very, very safe purchase if you were looking for a cell phone for the next 2 years. And that is the Samsung Epic 4G Touch review, Fanjoy.com. Be sure to head over there to read the full review for a more detailed breakdown of the software, the hardware, the camera, and just everything. Everything I talk about in the video just goes into more depth in the written review. So check that out. Quentyn from Fanjoy.com.